Early decisions in a divorce case can shape the outcome months later. It's one of the more frustrating things that as a lawyer commonly deal with. People come to me as what I describe downstream. What they want is for the lawyer to kind of come in where they are and be able to take off down the rest of the stream. The fact is, by the time that we meet those clients, they may have already gone through some rapids and take some wrong turns along the way. We can't really go back and fix that, but we do need to go back and learn as to how they got there. If you have the wrong fit lawyer, make the decision to offboard that lawyer sooner than later. If you're going through a divorce, there are things that people do every single day that damages their case before they ever walk into a courtroom. And the frustrating part is most people don't even realize that they're doing it. So I want to walk through 7 mistakes that I regularly see during divorce cases, and those mistakes can create real problems later in court. Mistake number 1, posting about your divorce on social media. Anything you post online can potentially show up in court. And I've seen social media posts used to challenge credibility, financial claims, and even parenting arguments. Regrettably, I've seen people use social media as a weapon to try to essentially get the village against the spouse. It just doesn't work out very well at all. And those messages tend to be used against the person who's posting them in a negative way. Judges really do not like to see you airing out your grievances publicly, especially when there's children involved or financial matters that are at consideration. Mistake number 2, ignoring temporary court orders. Now, when a judge issues temporary orders while your case is pending, and these are things on custody, finances, or property, those orders matter because they're orders, and violating them can make you look unreliable to the court. What people really struggle with, and I get it, is that for the most part, the government stays out of your marriage, right? There's really not a whole lot that they do to care about the marriage while it's going on. Sure, you pay your taxes and things like that, but now once you file for divorce, suddenly your whole life becomes public matter. You file financial disclosure statements. You make public arguments and claims regarding your children, custody, and placement. And when all of that happens, people give up a little bit of their privacy. And we get these temporary orders that are put in place, and those temporary orders are designed to help the case flow to the end to get to a final judgment. The temporary orders, though, are not just simply guidelines. They're not things that you can choose to follow or not. It's like if you check into a hotel, you can decide to show up or not. That's not what a temporary order is. You have to follow the rules. So make sure that you follow the orders in your temporary order. Mistake number 3, communicating through the children. Now, when parents send messages through their kids, courts often see that as unhealthy co-parenting behavior. And I've seen parents do this a few different ways. So let me give you some examples of things that you should not be doing if you're a parent. First off, communicate with the other parent. Find a way to do it. Now, if the two of you are not able to do it face to face, that's okay. Take the next step. How about doing it in writing? Can you communicate effectively through email, for example? If that doesn't work, how about text messaging? Another way to at least preserve the argument. But for some folks, that doesn't work either. So there's some programs out there that are commonly used in family law matters. One of them is called Our Family Wizard. Another one is called App Close. And these programs are specifically designed to help parents in high conflict talk about their children or talk about their finances. It's a one-stop shop for everything. You can put your uninsured medical expenses in there, the kid's schedule. It's a very helpful tool for parents that are not, and spouses who are not able to effectively communicate. But don't do this. Don't put notes in the child's backpack. I've seen parents doing this, and now the child is carrying a note back and forth. And I've seen parents say, well, I seal it. I put it in a closed envelope. Really? Is that really what you want? Is that your child is a messenger for these communications? So don't do that. Don't have exchanges where the child is bringing a bag to the school and keeping it in their locker and then bringing it to mom's or dad's afterwards. That's bad practice as well. So the communications, again, should not also be verbally through the child. Don't text your child and say, hey, can you tell your mother this? Don't do that. Or don't say to your child, hey, son, can you tell your father when you see him that I am going to do X, Y, or Z? Avoid doing that, please. Mistake number 4, guys, is making sudden financial changes. When parties close accounts, transfer money, or sell property without legal guidance, it can raise serious questions about intent. I've seen people try to plan for divorce, and they start moving money around, and they think that the court is going to understand what they're doing. And reward them for that almost and say, hey, I understand that, I appreciate what you did, that's good work there. What really happens is that the judges and the people in the court system see a person who's attempting to manipulate the money and move things around to make it harder for another person. So you need to be really careful if you're planning for a divorce and doing some pre-planning that you're doing this with the correct legal guidance. In Wisconsin, we have to specifically disclose in a financial disclosure statement any major transactions, sales of property, things of that nature that occurred at least 1 year prior to the filing of the divorce action. That look-back period is designed to say to a person, we want to know, we want an accounting for what you did with the money. And that's a very hard thing to litigate, to be honest with you. So one of the first things that you need to do if you're talking to a lawyer and you had concerns about your spouse moving money around, selling property, is be very specific. Help your lawyer in that. Try to get bank statements specifically to say, hey, here are cash transactions, money withdrawn that I don't know what it was used for. Or here's a record that I have of a piece of property that we had, and it was sold, and I never saw the receipt, I never saw the money for it. Those sorts of things need to be brought to the attention of your attorney early on. Mistake number 5 is refusing to cooperate with the other parent. So judges pay attention to who's trying to work things out and who is creating conflict. On this point, I want to be very careful, because there are times where we can't compromise with the other parent. So we need to be careful about what is cooperation, what is not cooperation. And oftentimes what I'm working with my clients on is the question of, is your decision a good one? Are you on the right side of the fence, so to speak? Are you making a good, reasonable, and rational decision? And if you are, at times it's okay to hold the line and say to the other party, I'm not going to lower my standards, I need you to bring those standards up. So it's important that as each decision comes out, that you put, if it's involving the children, you put your parenting cap on and decide what would a reasonable parent do in this situation. Or if it's a financial matter, what would an accountant do? What would a lawyer do in a situation like this? And in essence, you have to role play to some degree to a higher level. And take yourself out of the situation of feeling like you just need to compromise on every situation. What you want to do is be reasonable in your communications and cooperations with the other spouse. Mistake number 6, taking advice from friends or the internet. Divorce law is very widely, from state to state, and advice that worked for someone else may not apply to your case. There's plenty of people that come through my office and they say, this is who I'm taking advice from. This is who told me that their case worked out this way, and so on and so forth. And I get it. It's not uncommon for major decisions in life for you to go to your family members and your friends and say, what did you do? How did it work out for you? The rule of 5 and who you associate with is real. So it's often said that the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with is a reflection of your success in life. And if your sources of information with respect to something like this are non-lawyers, non-accountants, people who are not involved in financial matters or upbringing of children, your results are probably likely to reflect that. I strongly encourage you to consult with at least 3 lawyers and then hire one. These are some of the most important things in your life when you're going through a divorce. Generally, you're talking about your kids, the right to see them, financial matters concerning your children, financial support for yourself. It's everything that you've worked up to in your life. So make sure that you're being careful about your sources of information. It's okay to check the internet. It's okay to check with your friends, but then go to a lawyer. Go to the person who has specialized knowledge about the judges in your area, perhaps the guardian ad litems and the other players in your case. Mistake number 7, waiting too long to understand your options. Early decisions in a divorce case can shape the outcome months later. It's one of the more frustrating things that as a lawyer I commonly deal with. People come to me as what I describe downstream. And what they want is for the lawyer to kind of come in where they are, meet them at their point of their case and be able to take off down the rest of the stream. And the fact is, by the time that we meet those clients, they may have already gone through some rapids and take some wrong turns along the way. And we can't really go back and fix that, but we do need to go back and learn as to how they got there. So the best thing for you to do is to make wise decisions earlier on, further upstream. And if you're going to involve a lawyer, someone like me, involve that person early on in the process and be really careful about who you decide to go downstream with. If you have the wrong fit lawyer, make the decision to offboard that lawyer sooner than later. You really need to dig in and spend quality time in your consultations to make sure that you can trust the person that you're hiring, because they are going to be with you downstream through these rapids to get you to the end, and you want them there from start to finish. That's the cleanest way for you to get to where you want to go and get the outcome that you want. So guys, if you're navigating a divorce in Wisconsin, understanding these early mistakes can help you avoid unnecessary problems later in the process. I'm Kyle Kaufman, attorney at HKK Law Offices in Wisconsin. Reach out to us if you'd like a consultation regarding your matter.